Saturday Night Thunder continues its 2025 tour with another first for the year. This time around, we're back at the short circuit, and this small track demands respect. It's the half mile in Tennessee. Welcome back to the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway for a 200-mile feature live on FTN Broadcasting. This is race 6 of the 2025 A season, and Saturday Night Thunder is back in action at the small circuit, better known as the last great coliseum. More than 20 drivers have registered so far tonight. Matter of fact, we're looking at 26 in the server so far. Some notable returning drivers, some of which who haven't raced with us for over a year and a half, coming back to try their chance against a rookie force, a dominant one at that, including our current championship leader, Cameron Chandler. I'll be your host for tonight's event. I'm David Kreutz, commentating and producing, and I can't wait to get the show going, so it's about time now that we take a look downstairs to our qualifying circuit. Drivers are taking their times around this half-mile track, and I'll tell you this much, they are rapid. We recently did a race just a few nights ago at the virtual 5 Flag Speedway, which is also a half-mile track, but even though it's the same length, it is by no means the same speed. Bristol Motor Speedway lap times are 3 seconds quicker than that of their Florida counterpart, and currently the Florida native of James Thurston is at the top of the board. He's got the most wins on the season so far, and he's looking to keep that going. 3 wins so far for Thurston. Cameron Chandler, he's got himself the championship lead. And a few drivers making their first start, one of which is on your screen right now. That is Curtis Stanford. Stanford comes across the line to number 26. He'll move up to 9th place on that run. He's got a teammate he'll be working with tonight, so keep your eyes peeled. Mike Hale and Curtis Stanford. Rick Spencer Wald, a Canadian native, comes down to a short track he's well familiar with. He's one of the many veterans who have been in this series for now at least 4 trips to this circuit in years past. And Spencer Wald jumps up to 3rd on his qualifying run, while the defending champion gets back on track. That's Vinny Tigner, who's been very strong of late with 2 consecutive podiums. Tigner jumps up to P8, so a modest success, not as well as maybe the other drivers around him, but he'll still be starting inside the top 10 if all goes well. And this is one of the drivers who are very notable for tonight's race. Someone we haven't seen in more than a year, welcoming back Cody Webster, a driver who was with us for Season 4 of the Truck Series in the summer of 2023. Webster is making his return after a full year and a half away from competition. And with Cody's first lap, he'll jump up into 7th. Not a bad way to return to the SNT circuit. It looks like now as he parks it, the number 81 will qualify inside of the top 10. Only one other driver who's currently on the track. That's the number 18, and that's going to be another new driver. It's going to be Charles Savitaris, and right now, Charles, taking his yellow and black Hertz number 18 to pit road, but hasn't gotten yet out on the circuit. 23 drivers have taken a time so far. Kyle Jackson at the tail end of that field. So now, we're just waiting to see whether or not one more time is taken. Currently, doesn't appear to be the case. And with that said, drivers will be given their last few moments to get settled in for the long haul. Charles gets back on the way. So with the number 18 taking this one and only opportunity, it should be just enough time to put a qualifying lap in. Thurston is still on the pole position. Jackson Van Pelt is in 2nd. 3rd place is Jordan Kuntz, and Carter Casey is in 4th. Rick Spencer Walt P5, all 5 of which are within 1/10 of a second of each other here, and those gaps are minimal. Thurston and Van Pelt, the only drivers under the 14.9 bar. They've gotten themselves 14.8. Charles across the line, looks like it's going to be 16.2. That's good for 24th on the order. It looks like no major change as the number 18 lies at the back of the pack. Checkered flag falls in this session. Qualifying has concluded, and your top driver, it's going to be Thurston, the number 96, with an average speed of 125 miles an hour. 14.846 will do the trick for the pole position. Final moments now of qualifying. they've already come to pass. Got a few minutes here of warm-up. Before we look down to the drivers tonight, we got some making their debut, some making their grand return, and others still in the championship fight. So we should get to know each and every one of which, all 28 who have registered for tonight, as we get things going in our highest attended short track race in league history. 28 drivers with us tonight. Now let's learn all 28 of them with a starting grid, and on the inside of row number 1, a familiar face and perhaps a championship favorite. 3-time race winner already, that's James Thurston. Thurston at the top of the order with Jackson Van Pelt, then in second, 14.898 for Van Pelt, and that 8.46, the fastest lap in qualifying, gets Thurston pole position honors. Jordan Kuntz will qualify in third. Jordan not yet winning so far. He'd like to end the first leg of the tour with at least one checkered flag, and if he does so, it would be nearly a 1-year anniversary of his last win at Bristol. He got his last February 1st of 2024. Carter Casey continues to strong qualifying and finds himself in the 4th position. Rick Spencer-Walt in 5th, and Alec Daffin coming back from the last season's finale. It's his first race of the season in a part-time effort for the number 48. Cody Webster makes a triumphant return in his own right. Number 81 coming back after a hiatus of over a year. 7th to start, Kenneth Gurrell. 8th to get things going, Vinny Tigner, defending champion in 9th. And 10th is the 44 of Brad Robinson, who got a top 10 finish in Daytona. 11th place will be Richard Sherry with Connor Asbell in P12. Cameron Chandler, championship leader, starts 13th, and it will be Curtis Stanford, the 26th, 14th place. Henry Kaloff is P15 to the number 16. Well, that's going to be another new driver, Joseph Miller. He's 16th place with Matthew Fastnot 17th. Cole Wilson will be just behind, but you've got Carlos Ortiz 18th, Wilson 19th, and Matthew White in 20th. Final drivers, Matthew, of course, going to be P20, Deitch in 21st, Mike Hill 22nd, 13th will be Charles Cedevaris, and you'll have Kyle Jackson in 24th. And then your final 3, not taking times, it's Aiden Donahue, Tyler Sevier, and Curtis Sabarin. Also, final registry for Gino Marrow. He'll be at the tail end of the pack as well, making it officially 29 driver field. It's about time that we get ready to go racing once again. That's your starting grid for tonight's action in SNT. Bristol Motor Speedway, 200 laps coming up. Thurston is your pole sitter. And he looks like he's one of the many who's taken at least one time so far in this practice session. Cameron Chandler at the top of the board for all of which currently. Cameron, he's got himself a quick time of 14.903, and it looks like Carlos Oti is going to be backed out of the server. Gino Marrow taking his place, making it a 28 driver pack as a result. Marrow makes his way through. It looks like Carlos Ortiz down and out for the night as a result. The rest of the field is still well put together, and it looks like right now some familiar faces making their way back. Of course, we mentioned Alec Daffin, Cody Webster, also a former notable driver who's made his way in rather silently. Kyle Jackson, he's not on track right now, but you got to watch out for Kyle. He was a top 5 finisher in the championship standings in the end of 2023, and he's made his way back once again. So a lot of our old-time favorites in this league have returned, and it's wonderful to see them. Perhaps they have a chance for victory and redemption after all this time off the track. But Thurston right now is the fastest man in qualifying, and that is all that matters. Currently, Thurston's going to find himself P5 in this warm-up session, but he's taking his time off the circuit once again. 3 race wins so far and second in the championship standings. He's only got one other driver to go after. That is Cameron Chandler. Cameron has made more starts than him so far this season. That is the difference. Victory has been the theme of the 96 campaign, but the number 88 has been remarkably consistent. Although it's been more of a struggle to find victory lane for the Chandler team, podiums race after race after race have been the key to his success. And even though Thurston got the last race victory at Dover, there's an opportunity even today for Chandler maybe to break the mold and get past the number 96. Checkered flag falls. Chandler, the fastest man in this session, and he's going to find himself starting inside the top 15, although definitely not near where he'd like. His championship rivals got the pole, and now we'll look toward the starting grid. Drivers line up off pit road and on the circuit. The house is packed. The last great coliseum, and it's a well-known circuit, of course, not only for its size, but for its spectacle. There are fans in the grandstands everywhere, from the front straightaway through all four turns, the back straight, and down again. There's nowhere to run or to hide in Bristol. In large part, that comes down to the size and the speed. Banking of over 25 degrees through the corners rivals all of the SuperSpeedway circuits in NASCAR. Of course, you got Daytona, Talladega, and it rivals some of the highest banked short tracks in the country, including lesser-known circuits such as Southern National. But one thing this track has that most others don't, it's that prestige. And right now, Bristol Motor Speedway, with decades upon decades, of course, of prestige in NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and Truck Series competition, brings a special challenge, and drivers always honored to go after it. Tonight, we're replicating that Bristol night race formula with 200 laps on the table, as we typically do. "28 drivers taken to the starting grid. Last driver to register we mention is Gino Marrow. Marrow is being put in the 26th spot if he is to get on the starting grid. Jackson Van Pelt, still chasing after that big win number 1, is going to be right there in second place. A New York native, so coming back down to the south, Van Pelt has been notably strong to start this season. Top 5 speed in Atlanta, which is something we did expect out of this team, but maybe we're looking for some more unexpected performances. So far for Van Pelt, a real opportunity lies to do more with this operation. His Ford Mustang has proven a surprise contender in other tracks that we haven't seen him successful at. Atlanta has proven his bread and butter. Daytona, Auto Club, some of those bigger tracks, he's shown up in as well. So he's looking to give a good challenge to the men up front. Another driver looking for some blood tonight would be the all-white Alec Daffin. Daffin not in his typical outfit at all, but you can tell that's with intent. Daffin looking to make a statement tonight. No teams, no allegiance, just a driver. And he was a leader at the Bristol race in early 2024 before being knocked out by a lap car. So certainly a dissatisfying end to what was a strong night. Daffin is a championship runner-up twice over in this series, and perhaps the second most commended driver in SNT's history. No doubt a driver who's got the accolades and the performances to prove it. Now he's looking to sit less back on those old successes, taking away any branding. It's just Daffin tonight as he starts in P6. And of course, Jordan Kuntz, a former champion twice over, looking to prove that he still has what it takes after going championshipless in 2024. And 2 opportunities coming up short at the final moment both times. He's looking for his first win of the season, but the new guard might have taken over. The torch perhaps officially passes tonight. James Thurston with the opportunity to get his 4th win of the year and his 4th of the season as he goes up against Jackson Van Pelt. Time to get things started. The last great coliseum. 96 gets the jump. The field goes in tow. It's our biggest field at Bristol in league history. Thurston gets things going. Welcome to the Bristol Motor Speedway. Yellow flag opens up the night, and it looks like trouble already. While Gino Marrow just gets out of pit road, the incident at the tail end of the field looks like collected some of our brand new guys. So we're going to take a look back. Yellow flag is out. Caution number 1 on the day. Unfortunately, another one of those early cautions we've gotten rather familiar with. And here's what happened. Number 26 machine was one to blame. It looks like getting loose out of corner number 2, and that brought out the yellow flag. Curtis Stanford down a pit road quick, and here's a better look exactly at what Curtis did in the jack-in-the-box. Number 26 starting 14th, had good qualifying speed. Just take a look from here. Caught in the middle of the pack. Goes up through turn 1 and comes back down completely wrong. Contact from Cole Wilson. Luckily, the rest of the field just gets away. Caution's out, first time tonight. And currently Wilson is there as the rest of the field comes through. Back to your live feed. James Thurston is coming away for lap number 5. Yellow flags out for a small issue. Aiden Donahue, Carlos Ortiz, Curtis Sabarin, all three don't see the green flag. And same goes for Gino Marrow. Gino just gets lucky. The rest of the field getting caught up in an incident, and so the 71 now moves up to the lead lap again. 24 drivers on the lead lap. Wilson, with some minor damage, will get it all fixed up, and luckily he didn't get a full T-bone treatment. He pushed, however, that number 26 right aside. So with the caution flying very early, drivers given a very fast reset. It'll be Thurston, leader of your opening restart, and he's got behind him the same group of drivers. With one big exception, of course, you might have noticed Justin Van Pelt is going to fall back to the second row, and Kuntz gets up to row number 1. He goes from second row, almost falling back to the third row, and getting a good surge in those last laps of the run to get all the way up front. So now Jordan with an opportunity to fight directly for the race lead. We'll see how aggressive he is so early. Still, hundreds of laps to spare. Green flag will fly this time by, and in control, Thurston gets the jump. Caution's out again. It's a minefield. Carter Casey among others. And the yellow flag is out for the second time tonight. Here's a look back as it looks like another incident ravages the field from the front on down. Casey, starting on the outside of row number 2, gets caught in a pickle. Lucas Oil Chevrolet was so far up in front, had Alec Daffin behind. Daffin taps twice and sends the 48 and the 8 around. Brad Robinson collects some damage, and it looks like Cameron Chandler almost squeezed, but nothing comes of it. Daffin, Casey both get damage, and the caution's out. 2-car incident, and it's our second already. A quick and tumultuous start of the night brings the number 8 in, and you can see right there, very clear suspension damage to Carter Casey. What we've said most of the season, he's avoided those early race blues. Tonight it catches up to him. Casey down early. Hopefully he gets things fixed. Looking back to your live feed, Carter's back on the way. He's taking his faster pair, and he'll return to the field immediately. Meanwhile, up and in front, James Thurston and the number 99 of Jordan Kuntz stay right with each other. Let's talk a little bit more about some of your returning drivers. Cody Webster making his way back, and this is a return long awaited. Formerly one of the league admins in this group when it was the SCRL Truck Series. When we reorganized to kick off 2024, Webster left and found himself on independent course, operation. He was one of the drivers working with Jordan Kuntz's Road to Pro crew, and unfortunately for that operation, didn't get past round 1 in 2023. Took a while for us to hear from him until the end of 24, and now he's come back for his first start in his new SNT career. It's great to have Webster back here, 7th to 6th so far on the night. He's been rather quiet. A lot of drivers returning tonight. Of course, he's one of interest. It's been so long for him. Kyle Jackson went away rather quietly, but for all intents and purposes, he disappeared at around the same time. One of the former top drivers in this league, still looking for his first career win. One career podium under his belt. The Winn-Dixie number 60 is an interesting and pretty funny throwback, going back to Mark Martin's days as a Grand National Series driver. Not a throwback to one of his Bristol victories, but a throwback to one of his most embarrassing moments, coming down a pit road with 1 lap to go in the 1994 running of the Grand National Race in Bristol and giving up the victory as such. Nevertheless, Thurston not going to give up the launch. Green flags out for our second restart, and Thurston gets us moving once again. Thurston gets away with another nice jump. Jordan Kuntz going to let him have it. And this is when that Kuntz strategy comes back into play, letting the field perhaps be a little more rambunctious, less conservative with that strategy attire. And 100 laps time for now, the 99 might have the edge. Jordan's conservative style of play hasn't really helped him in getting a victory so far this season, as while we've had, for the most part, green flag, long run racing, attitudes around how to get up to the front of the field and keep yourself up front have changed. And for Jordan Kuntz, that's something where the signs of the times are very clear. Matthew Weeks again not racing with us, so his second consecutive week he'll be off the podium, and again not by choice. Caution's out, third tonight, and it looks like beating and banging at the tail end. Mike Hill battered ever so slightly, and the yellow flag is out. Here's a look back, and hopefully this tells a better story. Taking a look here, the number 60 Winn-Dixie machine. That again is Kyle Jackson. Matthew Fastnot's where it begins. Matthew gets low, swings up the track, and Alec Daffin spins around as well. Daffin, very little damage. Fastnot and Carter Casey get slight contact with one another, but it doesn't look like it was anything major. Yellow flag is out. Fastnot involved. Carter Casey and Alec Daffin. Here's a look once again with the number 60. And the 60 was just behind at the time of incident. We ride on board with Matthew Fastnot, one of the Kaloff Deitch cars, one of 3 in tonight's race, and Matthew not off to the best of starts. Tricky way to start the night for the Fastnot crew, and our third caution in 17 laps. Small incidents eating up some of the less experienced in this field, and I sense that's going to be a trend all night long. And hopefully that doesn't ravage many more drivers, but you got to get used to Bristol fast if you want any chance at success. Thurston, Kuntz, Van Pelt, the 1-2-3 combo. And Rick Spencer-Walt making good use of his night start. He's gone from 5th to 4th, and he's taken Cody Webster right up there with them. The top 10 is remarkably similar to how we just began, so not expecting things to change all too much, at least for now. Give it a few laps, a few dozen at least under green, and you're definitely going to see some significant changes. 18 laps in at 200 though, and not much has shifted. James Thurston and Andrew Schulte, both in the chat room to kick off the night. Thank you guys for stopping by. If you got a favorite driver you're watching live on FTN, we're taking shout outs and messages all night long. So please let us know who you're rooting for, because the party's only just begun here at the last great Coliseum. Thurston gets the jump. Third restart of the night. iRacing pace car dives and Thurston gets going. He's had a pretty good jump on every restart so far. That might have been the weakest, but he still comes clear. Mid-pack is side by side. There's the 72 again. That's Connor Asbell. Connor gets ahead of Richard Cherry. That's the move for P8. Up top, Cameron Chandler still trying to make some headway. He started outside the top 10 tonight, and that's one of the weakest qualifying runs he's ever put down in his SNT career. Already with 4 career podium positions in 5 races and 5 top 10s. He's been, by all regards, the second best driver in this series, if not the best. If you go by points, he's the top dog and the best driver. If you go by wins, he still doesn't have any, but when you go by podiums, he's definitely up there with the likes of Thurston and maybe a force to reckon with for the coming years. A few wiggles in the back you might have noticed. Gurrell falls out of the top 10 briefly. He's still in the fight, but Henry Kaloff is keeping him honest. This number 88, though, you gotta watch out for him and some of these other rookies. Drivers who are getting into the swing of things now, who we haven't seen either ever before or for a full-time run before. Cameron Chandler is brand new to the SNT scene, as is a driver like Cole Wilson, as is a driver like, well, say for instance, you look a little bit further back, someone like Richard Cherry. Some of these part-time guys have wowed us so far as well. And the caution's out again, 4th time as the number 16 of Joseph Miller goes around spinning. Miller with an issue, the caution is out. Take a look here, and this should show you just what happened. The 16 gets things going. Luckily, he looks to be all right for the most part, but another spin and clear suspension damage. Richard was up on the top side, of course, in the previous incident, so let's talk about Joseph Miller. Miller machine went up to the high side. There's the number 18. Charles working bottom. It looks like for Kenneth Gurrell, a huge hit. And that was just collateral. Miller couldn't avoid it and sent the Gurrell machine flying. Talk about a nasty post-wreck hit. Kenneth Gurrell gets insult added to injury with that one. Horrible wreck. Here's a look back from Gurrell. He was loose to begin with, then catches Carter Casey. It's Carter's second wreck of the night. And then watch this. Furthermore, the number 26 gets damaged. That's his second wreck, Curtis Stanford. Carter Casey gets unbelievably lucky. Because if that hit him, it would have been his night. He's got a chance to repair that front end damage, but you don't get second chances when you're hit at some 125 miles an hour at this racetrack, that's for sure. Watch this. Wow. Sending the 57 up into the air. Carter Casey was in the wall at that point, and only a few feet could have been the difference between his race ending and having a second chance on the track. Carter is now coming off pit road while Thurston leads, and the signal's out again. 1 lap to green here. Jordan Kuntz remains in second, and talk about a nasty hit for the number 57. The number 8 getting so lucky. Meanwhile, the 99 machine, that's Jordan Kuntz. He's right up there again. Jackson Van Pelt stays with Rick Spencer Wall. Big moving so far for Cameron Chandler. Now scored in 5th place, meaning he's up 8 on the day so far and looking for a chance to break into the top 2 rows if there is another restart. Green flag's out. This time, Thurston matched evenly with Jordan Kuntz, and a sense of urgency on this restart we have not seen before. Kuntz now on the high side, getting the advantage, and for the first time all night long, the 99 has the advantage, leading his first lap of the day, and it looks like Jordan Kuntz has had enough. He'll take the race lead from Thurston, and as a quick result, he's up 1/10 of a second. Then you've got behind him Thurston, Spencer Wall, and Jackson Van Pelt. Cameron Chandler having a little bit more struggle on this run as he's facing side by side with the number 71. Connor Asbell gets by him. Gino Marrow is right up next. And it's side by side now between a litany of drivers we haven't seen before. Webster now battling with Richard Cherry. It looks like Cody now going to slide to the inside as the 88 perhaps lost its thunder very quickly here. Rookie stripes and maybe getting caught up in the game real early. Not a good sign for the 88 indeed. Still time to recover. I don't think Kuntz is all too concerned with what's going on in that back here. Meanwhile, the 99's got the front of the field locked up, and we're mostly single file. This is now when you see those drivers getting that calm procedure of finding their own pace and running with it. Takes a while to get to sometimes. You might have to wait a lap or two. Other times you wait, give or take, a caution or two. We've waited for 3 cautions so far. Actually, that made it our 4th. And now it looks like drivers are finally getting themselves into a good rhythm. A lot of multi-car teams on the table tonight that we got to speak of, one of which is Henry Kaloff and Kaloff Deitch Racing. As per usual, the 63 is carrying the team with another strong run. He's in 10th right now from 15th. Teammate Michael Deitch has gone up 5 places as well, from 21st to 16th, and those early troubles caught Matthew Fastnot real bad. He's 17th to 20th on the day with the KDR paint scheme. Unfortunately, looks like right now Matthew not having the best of races. He's hanging on to the back end of the field here, but a chance for him to improve will come in some time from now. Jordan Kuntz no doubt has the lead. Thurston has kept himself as a no doubt second place runner. Let's see what happens here, as now Thurston has to deal with being the driver on the aggressive rather than defending where he was for the opening portion of the race. A notable change to strategy tonight that we are dealing with is we're once again returning to our original fuel limit of nothing. We're looking at 4 tire sets allowed, but when it comes to fuel, it is 100%. So if drivers feel they can go long, they can stretch their stint, that is completely allowed tonight, and it is most likely the way drivers will approach this race. One-stop strategy seems more or less like the way to go. Tire wear hasn't proven all too major so far, and of course with fuel runs lasting 100+ laps, we're not going to see all too many reasons to head down a pit road unless absolutely necessary. Gino Marrow here, he finds himself in 6th. He just got by Cody Webster. The top 5 has gotten rather stagnant. Richard Cherry heads to the bottom here, trying to get one on Henry Kaloff. Kaloff has made his way inside of the top 10 and not there firmly just yet. The competition is still rather tight, and it looks like Brad Robinson now wants his way back in. The number 44, why not give the 44 team a shot? Bass Pro Shops on the hood, and Robinson looking rather different from his Daytona top 10, but it would be his 2nd of the season. Robinson also has a great position here in the middle of the field. He finds himself running officially in 12th place, so not too far off the top 10 battle. He can literally see it out his windshield, and that's the perspective we're watching right now. 4th gear all the way, not seeing anyone really shift gears tonight, and it looks like right now backing it down to about 105 and putting the gas through, getting up to nearly 130 miles an hour. Robinson notably using that high groove to carry some of that more momentum with them. Put a little bit more speed, take the car up to the high side, you'll be drilling down the corner in no time flat. That's the approach Robinson's using now. He's kept that Richard Cherry car close, but he hasn't yet made a pass. Kaloff sits in P10. Marrow is 9th, Carter Casey 4th to 8th. And again, that last second moment for Kenneth Gurrell, of course, getting involved with that major contact, well, that has practically ended Gurrell's chances at a race win. He's 2 laps down right now. But for Carter Casey, I'll tell you this much, he got real lucky. Running in 8th place right now is a major shock given the violence of that impact. Gurrell flung right away from the wall and back onto the main track. If that hit any inches, any feet toward the right-hand side, well, number 8 would have been killed. He gets lucky today, and he's going to keep that opportunity to win moving, but he's still got a lot of time and placement to make up, as it looks like now Jordan Kuntz falls back down. 4th place for the number 99. That is the number 99's lowest position of the day. You can see right now, by highs and lows, he's dropping further back than what we've seen from him all night long. And very hard to tell with Jordan Kuntz whether or not it's intentional, but you have to think he's biding his time and he's looking for that long-term strategy play. Don't make an early mistake. Let time pass. Looking to play that long-term game. It's played out very well before for Jordan Kuntz, and knowing that, well, he's going to stick to his old strategy calls. He won this race in 2024, and he's going to play it a little bit differently. You might remember Kuntz was rather aggressive to make his way up in what was overall a pretty risky race. Alec Daffin, who's still in this one here, he was the race leader beforehand, got involved with a lap machine, that effectively took him out. And the rest of the race saw Jordan Kuntz keeping himself up there by all means necessary until he came across with checkered flag in hand for what was, by that point, already win number 3 of his 2024 A campaign. Right now, the most similar driver to Kuntz on the track last year is this man, the number 96 of Thurston. He has been unstoppable so far to kick off the 2025 Tour, and looking for what would be his 4th win of the season. Thurston has been dabbling on and off with this league since 2023, and now he's giving it a chance full time, and he's proving exactly what he's got. An undoubtable talent, Thurston is, an IORA Cup Series champion, but he's made it look real easy here in SNT. One driver who's keeping him close, though, is the man who's now directly behind in the number 31. That is Rick Spencer-Walt. And Spencer-Walt right now is going to find himself P2 and getting even closer to Thurston here. Gap is now under 0.2 of a second as they approach their first instance of lapped traffic. Looking to the top side, there goes Matthew Fastnot. He'll nearly come down and in. He'll go loose. Fastnot almost wrecks the leaders. Caution's out. That could have been horrible. Luckily, everyone avoids the trouble, but Matthew Fastnot got very close to maybe seeing his race come to a premature end. He's lucky he won't be kicked from that one. He'll take himself down a pit road as a result. Just dabbling with the wall and ricocheting off of it. Luckily, the field isn't collected and the caution's out. It's a safety yellow and your 5th of the night. Kyle Jackson and Curtis Stanford are additional retirees, and now drivers are coming into pit road, almost all of the field at once. Led by James Thurston, pit stop strategy is going to open early tonight as a result of all the yellow flags. Thurston's got that pole position stall exactly where he wants to be. So now we're going to see who makes their way out first. Thurston leads out and bringing with them the number 31 of Rick Spencer-Walt. Then from there, you'll have Connor Asbell, Jackson Van Pelt, Brad Robinson, Carter Casey, Cody Webster, Jordan Kuntz, and the number 88 of Cameron Chandler. Right now, Cameron sits right outside the top 10. And then with them, just ahead is a 99. That's Jordan Kuntz. We're looking for restart number 5 here, and we just got our longest run-in of the day. Lasted about 40-some laps, and so getting those early troubles out of the way, good to see who's got the pace in the short term and maybe the middle of a long run. Mike Hill and Matthew Fastnot will see their nights come to a close. Fastnot, after that last incident, looks like he's going to pack it up. Unfortunately, just not getting the shot to hang on. This leads us now with 17 on the lead lap and just about 20 drivers racing with us. Gurrell, Mike Hill and company, all retirees. And so far, a lot of the mid-pack fading out of contention. Thurston's up high. Interestingly, Michael Deitch is down low. Michael, the one and only driver who decided to stay out. Rarely does this strategy pay off well, so hopefully at least no damage will be caused as Michael Deitch decides to do something different. And the cubed graphics number 17, Kalof Deitch Racing grabs the lead. Michael, he's going for an alternate strategy here and looking for his first chance to lead under green all throughout the year. Deitch and Thurston. Positions 1 and 2, and it looks like the number 17, for all his old tires can give him, he's got just enough to lead into turn 1, but is already being swallowed up. That's the tricky part of going for this strategy call. Trying to run the old tires, you just don't have the speed. Deitch already falling back outside the top 5. By the next lap's end, he might outside himself the top 10, and it looks like that's exactly the way things are going. He's going to fade further back. The leaders have gotten away, looking to cause no trouble, but Michael Deitch now saving equipment, but at what cost? The 17 now is all out of contention, and Thurston has gotten himself the lead once more. Rick Spencer-Walt's now going to be going at it with Carter Casey, in a very familiar order and predicament right back up front. Side by side, Cody Webster right now and Cameron Chandler, one of the drivers who we remember from the very beginning days of SNT on FTN, going up against a rookie with force. And what a moment it is. As one in the wall, that's Brad Robinson. Robinson comes down and loses 5 positions in that ordeal, shooting from 7th down to 12th and even further below. One mistake cost the driver oh so much tonight. It's the opposite of those road courses where 1 second can be gained or lost in really any moment, but here at the short track, 1 second is a major portion of a lap. Given how small the track is and how quick the laps are, 1 second could be the difference between being your leader and being even inside the top 5, depending on how tight the field is. Right now, being 1 second back on a driver is the difference between being in the 6th position and being in the 10th position. The drivers better beware when they make a mistake that only costs them a second, because what it does cost them is at least 2 or 3 positions. That's how tight the entire field has to be. 72 out of 200. James Thurston still your leader and your dominant man. Rick Spencer-Wald is a half second behind him, and Carter Casey is now making net overall positives on the day. Coming from 4th in qualifying, he was previously running around 8th, and now he's up there in P3, running 3rd place overall. That's the highest spot he's been in throughout this event. Casey getting involved in those early incidents has now made quite the recovery. Let's take a ride on board now with the number 8 and see exactly what's going on as Carter gets to business. So far, the top 3 don't seem all too interested in battling one another. Instead, what's going on here is just running for that strategy. 77 laps in at 200 calls for the fact that more than half the race remains. So to waste your stuff right now, fighting for positions which might not mean all too much in just 1 yellow flag or 1 stint's time is a huge waste. That's why drivers like Jordan Kuntz have backed off the strategy called and decided instead to wait things out. So much time left on the table right now. that opportunities for aggression seem useless. Jordan Kuntz, he's taken himself further back in the field. Jackson Van Pelt is going to be P4. He's gotten himself just a bit further ahead. But Van Pelt qualified second, so still down 2 on the day and losing a little bit of time. Watching Jordan Kuntz in his last 4 laps, it looks like he's lost some time himself, but he's balanced out at about a 1.5 seconds back on your race leaders, which seems like a fair estimate to where he would like to be. Stay within touching distance if he needs to push, but otherwise let everything come through naturally. Forcing the error on a race like this could be detrimental, and again, Kuntz has a faster pair. Some drivers here don't want to get involved in any odd business with drivers who haven't prepared all too much. Gino Marrow's the biggest mover on the day by far, though. The Chimera Creative number 71. He's right now from 26th up to 10th, up 16. A very remarkable result. Something we didn't quite expect. It's definitely possible, but it doesn't come easy. The disadvantage of starting at the tail end of the field is evident, no matter how you slice it. So currently, we're looking at a huge run from Marrow. Didn't get that practice time, hardly got some time in qualifying as he just registered for the race. He's only gotten himself a few laps to prepare, and with those few laps, he's turned it into a top 10 performance. And he's ahead of some great veteran drivers here who are certainly looking for a little bit more than what they've done so far. Alec Daffin, even though he's had a few faults in his race so far, he is currently running in P11, 6th to 11th on the day for Daffin, and it looks like just shaking the rust off of this number 48 team. Been a few months off the track, about 3 or 4 for Daffin, so nice to have him return. Although it's been a long time coming for Daffin, it looks like it's a welcoming reward. Of course, the run up front. 11th though now, so he's going to have to try to make some moves. Gino Marrow would be the first of which, if he wants a shot, of course, a chance for the top 10. Matthew White, the next driver to disconnect. He is now in 20th, 5 laps down, meaning our last driver on the racing circuit is officially Cody Webster. Webster now 2 laps behind. Then you have the number 18, and that is Charles Savitaris. He's now 18th. Kenneth Gorell is P17, getting 1 lap down, returned to him after his last yellow flag, and Connor Asbell 1 lap down as well, 12th to 16th. Michael Deitch is the last man on the lead lap. He started this restart in first, by the way, and now he's within 3 seconds of being lapped. James Thurston is coming at him rather close. We'll see what Thurston can do with that effort, but for the time being, it looks like he's still just a little too far behind to make much a difference. He's getting close, and we might see another driver put 1 lap down, but with certainty, that's not the goal of Thurston's night. Getting himself up at the front of the field looks to be the big goal. Then you got Rick Spencer-Walt here going from 5th to 2nd. He's still trying to get up to your race lead, and these are the only 2 drivers even close to the lead battle now. Jordan Kuntz is fighting a different enemy. He's in the battle for 3rd, just getting by a shaky Jackson Van Pelt. Jackson's ahead of Carter Casey, but it looks like Carter's ready to contend that point. The number 8 is right behind and keeping things as tight as he can. Casey just got passed by Jackson Van Pelt some 3 laps ago, and now Cameron Chandler looking to make a rather similar move. Carter gets right by him again, but the 88 is trying to keep his foot in the game. Right now, Cameron is running P6, so if he were to finish 6th tonight, it would be his 2nd worst finish of the season. That's how good he's been all throughout this campaign. Top 5 after top 5 and podium after podium. Cameron Chandler has proven that his Daytona run of 8th position was a fluke. Instead, he's looking for even more than that, and perhaps looking for a chance to take the title home overall. But 5th place right now pales into comparison of his championship rival. Top 5 is good, a win would be great, and so far Thurston has been odds-on the man throughout this event. His last 4 laps, you can see it there, he's been the leader. There's no interval between him and P1, and of laps led, 83 of 97. If he leads 100 laps on the day, he lops up the accolade of being the most laps led driver as he nearly gets caught up with the number 18, Charles. Gives him a nice tag. Thurston pulls away, but that could have been treacherous. Luckily, Thurston gets through, and Rick Spencer-Wall doesn't catch any collateral. That could have got them both all out of short, of course, out of shape. And now, with short time to get back up there, Kuntz is looking at it, and he's still trying to put the gas on. 2.2 seconds back on P1 and 2. He's gotten away from the rest of the field, but he doesn't find himself close enough for that top spot. 100 laps in out of 200 here, and you can look sky high and see the battles persist. Cameron Chandler is now going to be in 5th once again. Kenneth Gurrell has just retired for the night. So after 100 laps of racing, he's 5 down, and he's called it. Gurrell is going to finish tonight, it looks like, P19 on the day. Gurrell ending up out of this event. Cameron Chandler is 13th to 5th, up 8 on the night. One of the biggest movers in this race. Of course, when you look at the top 10, usually the top 10 qualifiers stay up front. Not really the case tonight. Of your top 10, 4 drivers qualified outside of it. 13th to 5th in Cameron Chandler, 11th up to 6th in Richard Cherry. If he finishes in the top 10, it's his career best finish. 19th to 7th is Cole Wilson. He's looking to get himself another strong run. Wilson proving to be a good driver and another one of those rookies on the rise. Henry Kaloff, 15th up to 8th. And lastly, your biggest mover of them all, Gino Marrow, 26th up to P9. And for the first time all night long, he is in the single digits. No doubt, Gino Marrow, a great race for him. Didn't start the best, but now it looks like he is where he needs to be. Top 10 and looking for more. Top 5 finish would be especially ideal for Marrow if he wants to replicate the championship contending performance he had last year. But right now, I don't think that's the biggest goal in mind for him. He's just thinking about making it into the dance. And again, let's talk about that championship picture since it is going to come into mind. We know that Cameron Chandler right now is the points leader, but we don't know how many races these drivers have until that regular season comes to a close. Well, after this week, we've got 4 more races in the regular season. Then we've got ourselves New Hampshire, Talladega, and Chicagoland, the opener to the round of 10, with the 10 highest drivers in championship position make their way on to open the title race. Then we've got the championship round of 5, Texas, Michigan, Las Vegas, and all 3 of which will only have 5 drivers contending for the title. We're expanding the format we used last year from 1 race in the championship to 2 races in the championship to big 3 races, which means that consistency becomes even more important. The title doesn't come down to 1 race, but it does come down to being the best over a span of 3. And that is something that S&T has succeeded in so far above all else. The championship winners most often are the best drivers of the year outright. And so if Thurston is to continue his efforts this season, I think without a doubt he's got a chance to win this title that every driver has to take seriously. Cameron Chandler has racked up 5 top 10s in all 5 starts. Thurston, in his 4 attempts, have racked up 4 top 10s. They're both sitting at 100% as the caution flies once again. Yellow flag is out. It is your 6th of the night, and an incident flies, it looks like, in the middle of the field here as we pace once more. Trouble brews, and we're looking to find officially why that's the case. Joseph Miller has been off track for many a lap here, and it looks like right now the lappers are setting themselves up again to get their times back. Lap 113, this is yellow flag number 5, and as we take a look overhead now, we're trying to find the official cause of concern. You saw Alec Daffin there with Cody Webster and Connor Asbell running tight, but it looks like nothing came of it. Yellow flag flew at that moment. See there, as the caution went out, nothing comes of it in the front of the pack, nor the middle. So no official cause of caution so far. Taking a look at Cody Webster, looks like he looks to be just all right. Same goes for Brad Robinson, Connor Asbell, and all the way up front, your leaders remain in position here. So everything looked to be just fine with those who were at the front of the field. Same went for some drivers in the mid-pack. We're going to take it back one more time as we try to find the official cause of caution. But right now, nothing has been detected. There's no admin log to this point. But check it out with Michael Deitch and company here. And there it was, Jackson Van Pelt, the 0-7, and the yellow flag flies for a single car spin. Jackson Van Pelt is the cause of incident. Take a look this time and you'll watch in focus how Jackson went around sliding. And it looks like, unfortunately, no other contact. It just happened on his own. Cameron Chandler nearly the finisher there, but with Van Pelt getting loose, no other direction for him but down and in. Brings out the yellow, and a safety caution at that. Nobody else involved. Back to your live feed. 115 laps in out of 200. It's time for your 5th restart. Thurston already lined up again with Rick Spencer-Walt. Another restart, another jump from Thurston. He's been dominant on these starts so far, and with that restart, he has now led a total of 102 laps, locking up the most laps led on the day, continuing his dominance. Henry Kaloff is now tail to tail and nose to tail with the drivers around him. Backside to backside now, you're going to see the number 71 of Gino Matto get around. Gino looking to get himself up to P6. And now a chance for the top 5. That would be a gain of 20 plus positions. He's sitting at up 20 now on the day. And it looks like all of a sudden he's got the pace to go even further than that. What a run for the number 71 of Gino Matto. Now it looks like he's right behind Richard Cherry with a real shot to do something about it. Look up high once again, taking it up to the ceiling. 71 looks, can't quite find it yet. Richard, bobbling into turns 1 and 2, now has to keep that optimal groove. A lot of pressure on the rest of the field now with Gino Matto coming up. Gino is always remarkably quick when it comes to getting these tracks down. He came into this series in Auto Club last year. Brand new driver, nobody expected much of him, and as we've seen many a time before, he's not always the first to the session, doesn't always get the most practice time, but he gets to grips with things about as fast as any of the best, and only for lack of experience is this sophomore year driver not one of the top dogs in the field. Currently the championship standings anyway, he has some room to keep on improving. For Gino Matto, of course, he's not up there just yet inside the top 5, but he does find himself getting closer. 15th right now on the order, and if his consistency shines from here, he should be good to go to get into the round of 10. But currently it's between Thurston and Cameron Chandler. They are the drivers, first and second, and Carter Casey runs third in points. Michael Deitch goes spinning. Is that going to be a yellow flag? It looks like the call on the field is no, but the leaders are passing by the ailing number 17. And surprisingly, the call for Michael Deitch, who definitely slid up on the track, will be a stay green. But here's why as we take a look back half a minute here and check out what happened to Deitch. Michael went around, got loose out of 4, and a very similar incident to Jackson Van Pelt, only this time, no call on the field. Deitch gets himself going, gets back straight, and it looks like causing no hindrance to the pack. We're good to keep on moving. Great to see. Michael gets going once more. James Thurston still up there. Deitch now had some front-end troubles. He's in 17th place. His teammate runs higher in 8th. KDR right now, 1 top 10. And it looks like now Deitch and Matthew Fastnacht, both teammates, are out of the top 10 and 15 for the foreseeable future. Thurston and Kuntz find themselves right with each other again, 0.6 of a second. For all the distractions, this is the battle we've been waiting for. To start 2024, these two drivers were the ones to watch, and it looks like we're in a very similar position again, looking at these two as the top contenders to win tonight's race. Currently, it's going to be Jordan Kuntz, who's been running that second place banner all night long. Hasn't been able to get close to the number 96 in really any capacity. He started this race and was able to lead a few laps, but as you can see, he's only led 10, whereas Thurston has led 117. So without a doubt, there is a number 1 driver today and a number 2 driver. Thurston has proven so far that he has done it all in his own efforts, leading more than 100 already in only 130 laps. He's going to be hard to beat, but if anyone can do it, it would be Jordan Kuntz. Cameron Chandler is going to be running 3rd, Rick Spencer-Walt 4th, Gino Marrow is 5th place so far. Richard Cherry is now up to the 6th spot once again. This will be Richard's career high finish. Ran a little bit higher in 5th place for a brief interval, but couldn't maintain that consistently. He is still very close to where he would like to be, of course, in that top 5. Wonderful to see the number 39 coming out at it once again. He's been strong all throughout his brief, limited attempts, and maybe a night like this we'll see a little bit more of the 39 in the foreseeable races. Still a shot in the regular season to make a change and maybe get to that top 10 status. He'd have to work for it. We have 4 races left after this. More or less, we're at the halfway point of our regular season campaign. Those top 2 or 3 drivers are firmly seated. Everyone else, not so much. Thurston, of course, he is a no-doubter from here. He can miss the rest of the regular season, and I would be very surprised if he was bounced out of the top 10. Just by virtue of how strong his 4 races have been to this point, this is his 5th attempt. He's missed 1 race, but he's made 5. And he's won so far in 3 of them, and this would be his 4th, which would give him an 80% winning percentage, of course. An unbelievable statistic, and one that has not been matched in SNT competition almost ever. Jordan Kuntz, Matthew Weeks, the dominant guys who have been there and done that are the only drivers to even be on the level of the season we've seen so far from Thurston. And the only race that he wasn't able to win in all those starts, just because we have to go back all the way to the beginning in Daytona, that was the one that Jacob Wilkerson got the victory in. And if you want to know where Thurston finished, well, if you checked out the photo finish as it happened, he was only a few thousandths from victory. With the exception of Daytona, Thurston has been 100% in his attempts. His worst finish so far this season is a 2nd place run, and he is still kicking strong. He's turned SNT into the James Thurston Show, that is no doubt. And so far, the only driver to break the dominance, Mac Grab. Doing it in the one night, of course, that Thurston wasn't here. So, what's in it for the rest of the field now? If it's such a dominant performance from Thurston, the chance to be the underdog. Thurston, of course, he might not see Kuntz as an underdog, but consider the stats. The 99 is coming from the bottom of this podium, shall we say. He's been a very quick driver in all his years, but it looks like as of late, this team has been slipping out of relevancy. With so many strong drivers, the stronghold that Kuntz previously held, not the same at all. But he's still quick, and that's why he's here. 2.5 seconds back on Thurston, 144 laps in. He's got the better part of 60 laps to go to chase and catch your leader and get up there. He's making gains, and same goes now for Cameron Chandler. Cameron has just enough an opportunity to maybe make gains and get himself in the battle as well. In 3rd, comfortably speaking, and he's not been falling back into the clutches of Spencer Walt or anyone else behind him. But trying to look beyond the disadvantages and all the struggles on the back end, Cameron Chandler is here in 3rd, Jordan Kuntz is in 2nd, and Thurston is in 1st. That looks to be the battle for the win. If there will be any, it will be those 3 who go after it tonight. Still looks like Thurston's got the edge, but by no means is it going to be permanent. Lead lap has been whittled down to now about 12 drivers, even going to the back of the field here. You see Alec Daffin and Connor Asbell. Looks like Alex Knight has overall fallen off quite a bit. He was inside the top 10, even found himself fighting in that top 5 range, but hasn't been able to get that full recovery going and make his way back there for certain. Nevertheless, Alec Daffin has proven strong to start, and now is just a few seconds behind maybe the top 10 if he has the pace to pull himself up there. Connor Asbell and Henry Kaloff fight for the last top 10 placement, and it looks like Henry Kaloff just found himself on the back of it. And how about this run 25th to 9th for a driver we don't often cite as a top dog in the field, but tonight he has proven on merit and pace he's there. The number 77 of Tyler Seaver, who's come through from the back end, much like Gino Marrow, to get up front. Tyler makes another pass, and as they go 3 wide behind him, that will move him up into 8th place. And this has to be the best run of his SNT career without a doubt. 8th place now in Bristol, and Tyler is not looking back. 52 laps into this second half, and the number 44, Brad Robinson, slides to the bottom. No caution. Robinson makes the same error, and it looks like he's going to park it here. Robinson took it down to pit road, and it looks like that will be it. Thurston is still your leader, but now 0.3 of a second back. Here comes Jordan Kuntz. Kuntz is getting closer and ever closer now. As we ride on board, inside the cockpit with your 99, the race for the victory is getting tighter and tighter. This would be Kuntz making his 2nd consecutive victory in Bristol in the past 2 years. And it looks like right now, he's only gaining more and more. Number 18, Charles, going to be on the bottom side here. Both leaders take it up top. No involvement as Jordan Kuntz once again gets by. It's a rather tight race now, and we're coming through with only about 45 laps to go. At the line again for Thurston. He is still in control. Richard Cherry is in 8th, and the yellow flag will fly. Caution is out. It looks like the number 77 of Tyler Seaver involved, and for such a strong run, an unfortunate incident. Yellow flag's out, and we're going to our 6th caution here at lap 160. 77 took it to the top side. You see Connor Asbell right on the bottom, and Asbell, hopefully unintentionally, hooks the 77. Van Pelt hits the 72, and it's a chain reaction. Both drivers sliding, and Jackson getting damage. Yellow flag as pit road is busy for the final time tonight. Let's see who wins the race out. Thurston's up front here. He's most likely going to get the best chance to escape, and he's getting the 4-tire and fuel treatment that gets him out again. Kuntz right behind him. So Jordan will be P2, and 3rd out of pit road is Cameron Chandler, the rocket ship rookie, looking for his first win of the season. With time to spare, we're going to thank our friends at iRacing.com and return in just a moment. You won't miss a thing with our green flag coverage end to end, but under yellow, we'll take a quick break here. Thank you for watching live on FTN Broadcasting, and as always, we'll return right after a message from our friends at iRacing.com.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. race against the computer, or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Coming to green with what will be 40 laps remaining, and it's already ticking down. Thurston has been on the dominant stretch so far, and it looks like Jordan Kuntz has gotten ever quicker just to combat him. But still on the restarts, Thurston is the king. Green flags out again, Thurston gets the jump, and the battle for the lead continues. And talk about momentum there. Jordan Kuntz backing down intentionally. It looked like he came home with a head full of steam through turns 1 and 2. And as a result, well, it looks like all of a sudden the 96 finds himself still ahead. Thanks to a little bit of more defensive driving, even though Kuntz came down with speed, he backed off quick. The 77 finds himself on the bottom of the track, and Tyler heads down a pit road once again. Unfortunately, a great run for this 77 crew is coming to an unfortunate close. We mentioned he was inside of the 8th spot before the last caution, and now he's hardly inside the top 15. Thurston, undeniably in a great spot here with 35 laps to go. Even with that restart and Kuntz coming through with a huge chance to lead, couldn't get it done. Cameron Chandler now is in third. Cautions out once again. It's going to be the back of the lead lappers, and it looks like one in the wall. That driver looks like it just might be the 18 getting away. So the yellow flag flies, and we're trying to figure out who officially was involved in that one. Connor Asbell with some front end damage. We'll check on him here. The back end of the field has been the host to many of our wrecks. Jackson Van Pelt again sent down to the bottom of the track. And one minor tap makes the difference. Jackson's second incident of that nature. Take it back a lap for a full rewind. You'll see it with Cody Webster on the top. Webster and Van Pelt knocking, and the 07 comes down. The motor blows, and that will be the night for the 07 of Jackson Van Pelt. An unfortunate close, and now he finds himself on pit road while the field gets ready again. Jackson, not the best of his nights. He was involved in a few wrecks to begin with. Now that one looks to be terminal. We'll go for restart number 7 this time by, and we'll have 30 laps to go when we return. It's going to be a sprint from here to finish off the race. Cameron Chandler remains in third, but a rookie who's been more a surprise tonight is the man who's up 14 places in Cole Wilson. Cole looked to be settling strong for a top 10 finish earlier tonight, but now he's up as high as he's been all night long. And this could be Cole's second consecutive top 5 effort, and proving that Daytona run is less and less of a fluke each and every race. 22, looking to be maybe a new rival for those front runners. We'll see what he can do this time, and maybe getting up in front of Rick Spencer-Walt if he really wants a shot for the win. 30 to go when we go back green, and Thurston has been in control for most every restart. As it stands, he's led 156 laps, more than 75% of this race, and we are not even done. If he goes the rest of the way, it's very likely he leads 90% of the laps tonight. An unbelievable statistic in itself. Michael Deitch and Jordan Kuntz so far the only other drivers with logged lead laps. And now we'll see if that changes. Green flags out, inside and outside, neck and neck again. Thurston being kept honest. Jordan Kuntz slides through turns 3 and 4 with ease, but again, coming to the outside and brushing against the wall. That is the Achilles heel, that lack of room. The outside has so much momentum, and it has just enough grip to be a comparable line, but Thurston sees the caution again. Yellow flags out for your 8th of the day. Looks like Michael Deitch involved. Here's a look back. Vinny Tigner, Henry Kaloff, both of them will slide down the back straight, and Michael Deitch will spin immediately after. All 3 drivers look to get away relatively fine. Alec Daffin now with some front end damage too. One more time we'll look with Daffin because it looks like that front end damage as a result of avoiding this wreck. So he gets away and then taps the wall. Deitch sends him up. Shades of last year. Just this time, they're both on the same lap. Wait, no, they're not. Deitch is again 6 laps down. What a coincidence. Those two wrecked involved the 2nd straight year. This time, much later, Daffin is still inside the top 10, but no doubt, an unfortunate reminder of 2024 there for Alec as Michael Deitch just shoots him up the circuit. He's down on pit road now as the field stays out. Running out of time, running out of laps, and running out of moves to make. Thurston still leads. We'll go back green with less than 25 to go here. Less thought now about the bigger picture because time is running out and the picture has gotten smaller and smaller. We had a few good runs in between under green, but now this is our 8th caution of the night and the checkered flag is very near. Letting us loose for even 2 or 3 minutes unstopped could be the difference between getting home green and getting home with an overtime run. Thurston heads up and down the track, still looking to save just a little bit of fuel. But all things considered, he should be just fine. Thurston takes it high, and down low goes Jordan Kuntz. For the first time tonight, the 96 decides to take it up to the ceiling rather than going down to the bottom. An interesting decision, and again, since he's the control car, he'll still have the advantage. Is this the move for the race for the 99, or does Thurston prove again he's just that good? It would be his 4th straight win in 4 attempts. His average finish would be a 1.25 after this, if he hangs on. And this time from the top of the circuit, Thurston pulls clear. Thurston has just proven again that no matter where he is on track, he's got the advantage. The number 18 is going to go for a wild ride. That will bring out the caution with 23 laps to go. Charles Savitaris, in his very first start, gets involved and turned around. That's the 9th caution of the night. Take a look back from the beginning of the restart here. You'll see everything. Charles, unfortunately, just going to be punted up the circuit here, and the contact came with Connor Asbell just behind. He was already loose. He tags Cody Webster on the way out, and Charles ends up in the wall. Caution's out again. And that ends very quickly Thurston's first attempt at using the high side of the track to control the race, but it was a very brief success. So now it'll be his 9th time with the restart in his hand. When we go back green with about 20 laps to go, we're going to crank it up courtesy of our friends at TrackCams22.com. Their continued support in bringing some of the best camera angles in all of iRacing have helped us out immensely in bringing the coverage to you tonight. All car and track angles are brought to you by our friends at Track Cams for Gourmets, and all the leading broadcasters have chosen the best camera packs for good reason. With over 150 options available between their silver and gold passes, visit TrackCams22.com or Facebook.com/TrackCams to find out more about how you can level up your iRacing broadcast game, or even if you're an iRacing user who doesn't broadcast, find yourself with the best replay cameras on the market. We'll crank it up this coming time by 19 laps to go on the board. That's the official verdict as we try again to go green. Thurston is up top, and Jordan Kuntz is right down low. We've had 3 race winners so far this season. 2 of them are not in this race. The other is Thurston, and he has led now a total of 170 laps on the night. From the Bristol Motor Speedway, time running out, and it's time to crank it up once again. Thank you for tuning in so far on FTN Broadcasting as we bring the show back to life. Green flags out for our 9th restart. Let's crank it up in Bristol, Tennessee. James Thurston is still in control as the field comes around now with 13 laps to go. Everyone's taking it up to the top side, and Thurston has been the pioneer of that practice. Jordan Kuntz slides out of control. Second place and destroyed. Yellow flags out. It's your 10th of the night. And your runner-up man is killed. The front end is gone. He'll head down a pit road immediately. Didn't look like there was any contact on him by the time he let loose. Driver error in the heat of the moment might have just caught up to a 2-time former champion. Got in the wall, tried to put the pedal down, and just shot to the bottom. We've seen it before tonight, and it happened again. Jordan's motor is blown. I think that ends his chance to win the race. Even if he gets back out there with a fast repair, he's towing right now, which means he's burning time, and we don't have any to give. It's 11 laps to go from the checkered flag, and a lap here is under 15 seconds. Yeah, he's in big trouble. Thurston's got a shot to finish the job here, and it looks like things have gotten easier than ever. His prime candidate for any contention is now destroyed. He's 2 laps down, and it looks like that's his night. He'll finish outside the top 10 in what has been another disappointing start for the number 99 campaign. Jordan Kuntz, 13th, after running second for over 180 laps tonight. Unbelievable. Meanwhile, Thurston has led almost 180 laps on his own out of 190. He's looking to finish the day with about 93% of the laps led. From start to finish, he's been nearly unstoppable. "11 on the lead lap, going back to Alec Daffin here. Daffin looks to be on pit road, getting some extended repairs. Jordan Kuntz, more the same. He'll take a fast repair, get himself going immediately. Daffin just got on the roll. And now, as Kuntz gets put another lap down, looks more official than ever. His chances are done. 9 to go. We'll come back green with only 8 laps remaining, and it is a sprint from here to the checkered. For the first time all night long, Carmen Chandler is on the front row. And now the rookie, who's still looking for his first win this season, has a chance to fight directly with his title rival. Perhaps a preview of what's to come for the rest of the season. Thurston gets the jump. Cameron Chandler left in the dust. 8 laps to go. Thurston again has the advantage. And Cameron, for what it's worth, cannot give this up. It's the first opportunity he's had all season long to go toe-to-toe with no time to spare. Thurston has gotten away at every opportunity this season with victory after victory, and Chandler is fading fast. Rick Spencer-Walt drifting to turns 3 and 4, saves it but loses big time. That puts Cameron back up to second, and Vinny Tigner gets up to third. The podium shifts big time as Rick Spencer-Walt comes apart, but it's all for naught. Your front runner has gotten away even further. 5 laps to go for James Thurston in what would be his 4th win of the season if he can only lock it up. It's a level of dominance rarely replicated, and so far in every attempt he's made this season, save for one, he's gotten the victory. 2nd place. First, and now looking to go P1 once again. Cameron Chandler is the last hope to break this dominant streak. He finds himself now 0.3 of a second away. He's using the top side for all it's worth, trying to find room, but he doesn't look to be quick enough to make any time. He's 0.4 back, and he's still right where he was before. Coming with 2 laps to go, 1 mile to spare, Cameron Chandler is not gaining, and it's a death sentence now without a yellow flag. Gino Marrow, who qualified 26th today, is up to 5th and is looking to try to maintain that, while Richard Cherry goes for what could be his first ever top 5. 1 lap to go, and while the chaos ensues behind, the 96 does what he's done all season long. Redemption from 2024 and continuing the trend of success. It's his 4th win of the season, his 4th consecutive win, and another to add to the trophy case. Thurston wins in Bristol and leads 187 laps on the night. Leading officially 93.5% as predicted. Finishing his celebration on the start-finish line, what a win for James Thurston. Continuing that level of success, and it's been an unbelievable ride so far, he does it once again. Checkered flag ends this race with a 96 on top. Let's take a look at all your race results. Thurston wins over Cameron Chandler. It's another podium for Chandler, his 5th of the season, a top 5 result, and he's still 6 for 6 on top 10s. Vinny Tigner comes away with his third consecutive podium. This one almost came out of thin air, but he just gets through with the right timing to end the race in third. Cole Wilson, very impressive with another top 5 finish, 4th place. And Gino Marrow, up 21 spots on the day, finishes 5th. Richard Cherry comes through in 6th with 7th Henry Kaloff, 8th Connor Asbell, 9th in Alec Daffin, and P10 Cody Webster, finding himself 11.5 seconds back. Then from there, the rest of the field, you've got 11th place in Charles Savitaris, of course, 2 laps down. Rick Spencer-Walt comes away in 12th, Michael Deitch 13th and 14th. Unfortunate race there, 2nd for oh so long, but 14th for Jordan Kuntz. P15 for Tyler Seaver and 16th for Jackson Van Pelt. Brad Robinson, P17. 18th for Carter Casey, 19th Kenneth Gorell, Matthew White finishes in 20th tonight, and 21st then is Mike Hill, with Matthew Fastnot 22nd, Kyle Jackson 23rd, Joe Miller 24th, and Curtis Stanford 25th, Carlos Ortiz 26th, and Aiden Donahue 27th, Curtis Tabarin, 28th and last on the night. We'll speak to your race winner, of course. First and foremost, it's James Thurston with 187 laps led, proving the dominant streak will go on. And of this first leg of the campaign, now that we come to our first break, has concluded, one driver sits atop the field with no question. 4 wins and another top 5. Thurston, you controlled the field from end to end tonight.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. That was an amazing race right there for us. Just led all but like maybe 5 or 6 laps, I think. I have to go look at the results, but we led a lot of laps in that race. And I mean, that's exactly what you want to do, right? Just absolutely amazing showing tonight. And I think we scored all the points we could.
And maxing out on points, you mentioned it. You got that pole position, you led the most laps, you led at least one, and you get the race victory. And officially 187 according to iRacing here. So very little competition, it seemed like, through all the runs, but it was pretty close. So how was it for you inside the competition, just managing the race lead while you led so much time?
Well, I mean, it just kind of seemed like if I could just control the race, it was really all in my hands, really. Like, there was that one time that Kuntz got by me on one of the restarts. He was just pushing harder than I thought he would at that point in the race, and he got by me, and I pushed and pushed and pushed to get back by him, just because I knew if you lose control of the race, then, I mean, you kind of lose control of everything. So we just stayed up front, tried to run the bottom as much as we could, and sort of ran out to like the middle-ish lane there towards the end, and then the top on the restarts just to defend. And I don't know what happened to Kuntz. I saw that he wrecked. I'm not really sure why, but it was fun racing him. Fun racing Rick Spencer as well, and Cameron Chandler. Lots of really fun battling and everything tonight. We kept it respectful for the most part, I think. And yeah, I love racing here.
And again, proving what you got in store for perhaps a full-on championship run. And now with 4 wins on the season, doubled your total win total from last year. I think the question's out of mind that you're going to keep on going at it for just more checkered flags. Charlotte's our next race in 2 weeks' time. Back to the intermediates. You've already found success there before, so maybe a shot to do it again?
I mean, yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, it's not really... It's not really it's easy to say what you're going to go do, but it's not really that easy to go and do it. So I guess we'll just have to see what happens there and just try to repeat tonight, really. I mean, I don't think you can ask for a lot more.
And with that said, the momentum is strong for the 96 team. James Thurston again getting to victory lane in your past 4 starts, 4 straight wins. Any final shout-outs or comments you'd like to send out here?
Yeah, just thanks to Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsports as always. Jones Racing setups, and just, yeah, IORA. It's just been a lot of fun racing and winning a lot of races.
James Thurston getting to victory lane once again and dominating here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
And a very similar top 3 to what we saw last week. So we're going to bring in your second place finisher up next. It's the same playoff order, of course, same podium order. for what we saw last week, and we'll so, of course,
League
bring
out.
in
Oh.
P2 right next. Cameron Chandler, second place on the day, getting up there after some late race troubles for the 99, but you held strong all night long for another runner-up finish.
Yeah, if you told me about, or asked me about, like, with 50 to go, how I would feel about finishing where I was, which I think was third, and really anywhere, like, anywhere throughout the race, I would be happy with a top 3, top 5, wherever I was running, but finishing second to Thurston, I think the third time in a row now is really starting to get frustrating, and hopefully we can get one done here soon.
And continuing that tough luck of finishing second place once again. We already know how remarkable you've been with that consistency, but the difference tonight between victory and just not that, oh so close. So we got to walk it through the beginning and the majority of the race. You weren't really the top quickest driver, but you were around the top 5. It's your first time here in SNT at Bristol, so how was it for you getting to grips with the field? A pretty big one at 28 cars.
Yeah, we struggled early on in practice, and we had three races here in two different leagues all throughout the week, and luckily in those other 2 races we were able to get it done, but here just a little bit short. But yeah, a lot more slick than all the other ones, and definitely a lot different to try to get used to.
And it looks like all those differences and difficulties, you ended up putting them to rest. Strategy tonight came down a lot to the cautions. We don't usually see that. Looks like, for the most part anyway, you got away and avoided the damage. Another big plus.
Yeah, I mean, for what it looked, surprisingly, this was cleaner than all the other races I've done here this week. So we got a few long green runs in. So that was nice. Got a lot of track position that way by just saving tires better than some. And hopefully for Charlotte in 2 weeks, we can go in and have a better performance than what we did here.
Charlotte Motor Speedway up next when we come back from a 2-week break and looking for that first career victory. Cameron Chandler, before we go there, any comments or shout-outs you'd like to send out as we take a little bit of a hiatus here in SNT?
Yeah, I want to shout out Cole Wilson. He's come a long way from when I met him last year, saving tires. He was right up there with. He got 4th. Had a chance to get 3rd, but unfortunately got into an incident there. But he's been getting a lot better, and you'll see him coming up, running up front soon. And then Braden Huntsicker, he wasn't able to make it this week because he was sick, but he's going to be looking for something for Charlotte too. He's definitely going to be a contender.
Cameron Chandler, bringing it strong as one of the leading rookies, comes away with a 2nd place finish here at the last great Coliseum. Thank you once again for stopping by.
Yep, thank you.
Chandler's on the move, and our last driver is another 2-time podium finisher in the last 2 weeks. And maybe the biggest surprise of all, given what we saw for 190 laps, Vinny Tigner, you were strong, but I don't know if you expected this podium finish, but you capitalized late, and so you're here.
Yeah, I didn't expect that finish. I struggled. It's not the Bristol that I'm accustomed to for whatever reason. I normally I run the bottom and I can save tires down there, and man, I don't know. It was just I was just slow, and I'd break free a lot of times, and I almost wrecked a couple times on my own. And but yeah, once I moved up, tried some new lines, it worked. And I was able to still manage my tires even running up there, and yeah, it worked. So I'm very happy about the finish, but um, didn't expect it, but I'll take it.
And tonight, running pretty different compared to the last trip we went out to Bristol. A few cautions, or maybe more than we expected, and a big field at that. So with all the chaos control, how was it for you inside the cockpit just managing it?
Uh, well, dodged a few bullets out there, and yeah, like you said, it wasn't the cleanest Bristol race. It's kind of unfortunate, but I mean, it is Bristol at the end of the day. I mean, they're not all going to be, clean. And I don't know if it was just the cars were just ill handling, and that's what caused a lot of the wrecks. I'll have to, we're gonna review everything later on. I'm curious to know what was the cause of it, but yeah, it's unfortunate, but you know, we'll move on and go to some tracks that'll provide cleaner racing.
And you mentioned that, the first of which on our minds is Charlotte when we come back from our first break of the season. So far, you've been racking up some strong finishes to keep your title defense program alive. How do you feel about heading back to another very familiar mile and a half?
Oh, I love Charlotte. So I'm very excited to go there. And we're also going to put up it's going to be a money race. So we're excited to do that. And I think there'll be a sponsor for that weekend. So yeah, really, really looking forward to it. Yeah, we got a little off week here for next week because of the 500. And after that, we'll get after it at Charlotte.
Charlotte Motor Speedway is up next, so off to bigger things after a short track night. Vinny Tigner, any final comments you'd like to send out? The floor is yours.
Well, obviously, thank you for everything you do, and thanks to the guys to show up tonight. It was a pretty good sized field, and I really appreciate that, and hope anybody that tuned in enjoyed that one.
Vinny Tigner, third place on the day and another podium finish for the 12 crew. Thank you again for stopping by.
Thank you.
With Vinny on the move, we've heard from your top three finishers and the exact same order for the exact same drivers for the second straight week. Consistency proves key as Tigner comes to the conclusion he makes it through at the very end. In third, Cameron Chandler remains the bridesmaid of the series and your championship points leader, finishes second place, still looking for his first career win. And James Thurston, with his fourth consecutive win, has proven that he is holding no prisoners this season. His average finish is raised to that 1.25. His worst finish on the season is still a second place run as we enter our first break. We'll come back at the Charlotte Motor Speedway locked and loaded for some intermediate racing. But with that said, it's been an amazing first portion of our campaign. 1 month of action-packed racing from Daytona to Bristol, Tennessee, and we're glad to have opened up on such a strong note with competitive action here in SNT. You've been watching coverage of Saturday Night Thunder live on FTN. I've been your host, David Kreutz, commentating and producing. From the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway, we thank you for tuning in, and if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support is always greatly appreciated. Congratulations to James Thurston for coming through with his fourth win of the season. Thank you for tuning in tonight on FTN. We hope you have a fantastic night.